After the Cubs fought off elimination in Game 3, they have a chance to tie the series in Game number 4, but are also at risk of being eliminated with the loss. We will look at Game number 4 and look at what went right and what went wrong. That will be happening in this episode of Cubs 360. Cubs 360. Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 56 of the Cubs 360 podcast. If you're interested in the content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So, as I mentioned not too long ago, the Chicago Cubs won Game 3, and here they are playing in Game number 4. They have a chance to tie the series and send it back to Milwaukee for a Game 5, but with the loss, their season will be over, and the Brewers will advance to the National Championship Series. So, in the top of the first, Matt Boyd is pitching for the Cubs, so he's trying to have a bounce-back game after that horrendous Game 1 performance, and Yelich will get walked. Chourio will strike out swinging, Contreras will ground it into a fielder's choice to short, and Yelich is out at second, and then Turang will fly out to left. In the bottom of the first, Peralta is pitching for the Brewers, so a Game 1 rematch between the two pitchers. Bush will strike out swinging, Nico Hoerner will hit a base to left, Tucker will get walked and send Hoerner to second. Suzuki struck out swinging, but Ian Happ hits a home run to right field to make it 3-0 Cubs, so a very big statement there for the Cubs and Ian Happ, and then Kelly struck out swinging. In the top of the second, Vaughn gets walked. Durbin will ground out to second, and Vaughn will go to second. Frelick will ground out to first, and Vaughn will go to third, but then Perkins will fly out to right. In the bottom of the second, PCA will bunt ground out to Peralta. Swanson will strike out swinging. Shaw will reach on an infield single to third. Bush will get walked. Shaw will go to second, and Nico Hoerner will line out to third. In the top of the third, Ortiz struck out swinging, Yelich will ground out to short, Chourio will hit a base to left, and Contreras will strike out swinging. In the bottom of the third, Tucker will fly out to left, Suzuki will ground out to short, and Happ will fly out to right. In the top of the fourth, Turang struck out swinging, Vaughn will pop out to first, and Durbin struck out looking. In the bottom of the fourth, Kelly struck out swinging, PCA will fly out to center, and Swanson struck out swinging. In the top of the fifth, Frelick will hit a double to right, Perkins gets walked, Ortiz will hit a sac bunt to third, Perkins will go to second, and Frelick will go to third, and Yelich struck out swinging, and that is the end of the game for Matt Boyd, so a significantly better performance from him in this game, and Palencia will go in, and Chourio will pop out to short. Trevor McGill goes in for the Brewers, so Peralta's night is over, and Shaw will get walked. Bush struck out looking. Nico Hoerner hits a base to right, which will send Shaw to second. And then Aaron Ashby will go in for the Brewers as Nico Hoerner stole second and Shaw stole third. Tucker gets walked. Suzuki struck out swinging, and Happ will line out to center. In the top of the sixth, Contreras will line out to third. Turang will ground out to second. Vaughn hits a base to left, and Durbin will fly out to left. In the bottom of the sixth, Kelly is safe at first on a fielding error by Durbin. PCA will hit a sac bunt to Ashby, and Kelly will go to second. Swanson gets walked. Matt Shaw hits a base to center to score Kelly, and Swanson will go to second, so it is now 4-0 Cubs. And then Bush will ground out to first, and Shaw and Swanson will advance a base. And then Patrick will go in for the Brewers, and Nico Hoerner will ground out to second. Pomeranz goes in for the Cubs in the top of the seventh as Frelick struck out looking, as well as Perkins, but then Ortiz will line out to right. Gasser goes in for the Brewers in the bottom of the seventh as Kyle Tucker finally wakes up in the postseason. He hits a home run to center field to make it 5-0 Cubs. Suzuki will reach on an infield single to third. Happ will fly out to center. Kelly will ground out to short, and Suzuki will go to second. PCA gets walked. Swanson will ground it into a fielder's choice to third, and Suzuki is out at third. In the top of the eighth with Brad Keller pitching for the Cubs, Yelich will get walked. Chourio will fly out to right, and Contreras will ground it into a double play. In the bottom of the eighth, with Gasser still pitching for the Brewers, Shaw will fly out to left. Bush hits a home run to center field, and it is now 6-0 Cubs. Hoerner will hit a base to left. Tucker will also hit a base to center, which will send Hoerner to second. Suzuki will fly out to center, and Happ will ground out to short. Caleb Thielbar will go in for the top of the ninth for the Cubs. Turang will ground out to second. Vaughn grounds out to short. And like Vaughn, Durbin will ground out to short. So a great performance offensively for the Cubs and defensively. They shut out the Brewers. And the Chicago Cubs, as they've won 50 games at home, and this series does not disappoint. They go 4-1 at home so far in the postseason, and they win 6-0. And a 2-0 series deficit for the Cubs all of a sudden turns into a tied series at 2 games apiece. The Cubs force a Game 5 in Milwaukee. So a very big performance for the Cubs here, as they definitely needed it to keep their season alive, and they still continue to do so. Palencia, with his 3rd win of the postseason, went 1 1/3 of an inning pitch. He gave up only 1 hit, and the loss goes to Peralta. On a rare occasion, the Cubs actually got to him. He's 1-1 this postseason. 4 innings pitched. He gave up 3 earned runs and 3 hits, and he had 6 strikeouts. So some good and bad in that performance from Peralta, but even better good coming out from the Cubs. So again, tying the series at 2 games apiece after being down 2-0 in 2 games that they got absolutely embarrassed in. The Cubs finally make up for it in some capacity. So it's nice to see the Cubs still having that fight in them, but they did go 0-2 in Milwaukee, and that is where Game 5 will be. So we will have the recap to Game number 5 coming out in a few short minutes. Give me your thoughts on Game number 4 in the comment section down below. If you're interested in the content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So this is Jack from Cubs360, and as always, go Cubs go.